excellent. So we want to bring into Nepal, and people in Nepal, the students in Nepal, they are very bright as well. They need supervision, they need good people, they need good education. So we want them to come here, and we want the supervision from Ireland to Nepal. So that we can have research collaboration as well, and thus to get the benefit of the brilliancy of Nepal industry. So that's the kind of thing we'll be doing. And in the summary, so basically help strengthen the link between government and people level. So anyway, thank you all. So we have this protectives, and then we'll have a list of top programs, 7 different mountaineers. Noel Hanna is here as well. He is the Irish record holder for climbing Mount Everest for 7 times. Where is Noel? I think he came just now. I know. Okay, Noel is here. This Mountaineers, Climbers, Outdoor Adventures. Thank you all, John and Patrick and Edward. Thanks all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deepesh. I'd like now to call on Emer Costello to come and say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Anna, and good morning everybody. A representative from the Nepalese Embassy, Lord Mayor, Mayor of Fingal, and distinguished guests. I'm really delighted that I'm still coming here. Now, unfortunately, I still haven't been to Nepal yet, but at least I make it here every year, and I think I started out coming to these events back in 2008 or 2009 when I was Deputy Lord Mayor, and I've been very honoured to come to every event since. And what has always really struck me is the strength of the Nepalese community here in Ireland, the very strong cultural ties that they have and the links that they have with their home country, and how they have extended out into the Irish community. And it's always amazing to see, and I always meet people that I know here that I never knew had an interest in Nepal, and I'm always delighted to meet them here. And just during my time as Lord Mayor, and particularly over the last 2 years as an MEP, one of the areas that I actually very much concentrated on as an MEP was the whole issue around diaspora. And really delighted to see yesterday that a Minister for Diaspora has been appointed. My view on diasporas is that diaspora is a two-way street. We need to look at diaspora not just in terms of the Irish diaspora that's abroad, but that we have large diasporas from various different countries living here in Ireland, and that we have to make sure that we look at how to benefit as much as possible from the cultural, trading, tourist, educational ties that have already been mentioned, and we have to see how we can develop all of those links. There is some discussions around, developing diaspora studies in a diaspora centre here in Ireland, and I think that the Nepalese community maybe should try and have an input into that. And I know I was quite excited by the announcement yesterday of the Minister for Diaspora, because, as I say, I would like to see and push out the boundaries and see it just being more than just be more about the Irish diaspora abroad, but that it looks at diasporas that are living here in Ireland. I'm very excited to hear about the plans that you have as well, the political developments that are taking place in Nepal at the moment, the emphasis that there is on trade, on tourism, on education. And I think that maybe the time is just right now to develop these. We'll have a new government, we'll have maybe new we'll have a new impetus in terms of trade and development as well. So I want to commend all the people in the society for the work that they have done, because the fact that there are so many people here today, and I know that there'll be a lot more people here this afternoon, these events are always well attended, and it's because of the dedication and the hard work of all of the people who are involved. So congratulations to the Nepalese Irish Society for the work that you are doing. To pledge my continued support, Joe Costello sends his apologies again, just to say that he's sorry he can't be here with you, but that he was delighted that I was able to be here as well, and to partly represent him as well, and to send his good wishes. And you never know, Christy, I might actually get trekking in Nepal yet. I'll have a bit of time now anyway, I'm not so sure about him, but I have some time on my hands now, so hopefully I'll actually make it to be there. So I wish you all the best for the day. Have a wonderful day, and I'm sure that this event will continue to grow and grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please pass on a message from us to Joe Costello, Minister for Trade and Overseas Development, that we look forward to seeing his slides from Nepal at a future event. Excellent, so we have witnesses. Excellent, thank you very much indeed, Emer. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Ryan to come and say a few words. Michael Ryan has a long history in tourism, and he's already been mentioned by the Charge d'Affaires, advising about how much tea we drink here in Ireland. But actually it's a lot more than that, advising about developing tourism links between our two countries. So please would you come and say a few words. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My connection with Nepal, certainly in the last year, has been quite considerable. I've been involved with the Nepalese embassy in London, and I had many talks with the Dr. Shalice, who has gone back to Nepal, and they're now waiting for the new ambassador to arrive. I think these events are very special. And I'm delighted to have been invited here today. My wife and I attended the National Day in the embassy back in May, which was attended by a couple of hundred people, and it was a very exciting day. And we had lots of momo, people understand. My only visit to Kathmandu was last October, and I have to say it was an amazing trip. We spent about 2 weeks there. Some was business, some was pleasure, mixture, but we actually did get to see the tea plantations up in the northeast, and we planted some plants for ourselves with our names on them, so we're going to come back and pick them when they're ready. And I got to Poker as well, but unfortunately I was supposed to do a trek to base camp, but we just ran out of time, so as the lady said, you've got to go back, so I am hoping to get back. But in my time in the airline business, I worked with Aer Lingus and Ryanair, and dealt a lot with tourism. And I have to say there are a lot of similarities between Nepal, I think, and Ireland. I think first and foremost that there's a very strong family culture, which a lot of countries seem to have lost today. And it's certainly still very strong in Ireland, and that was one of the first things I really recognised. It's very strong in Nepal. In Kathmandu, I think I saw the most hardest working people I've ever met. All sorts of people do all sorts of things. And I think if the structure can be put in for them, they can be a lot more obviously productive in a better way. There's also, they're very religious people. They practice their faith. I think that's the same for Ireland. And that's certainly is a big connection there. They were always very welcoming to us and always smiling. And I think they were the warmest people that I've met in many a time. And as we mentioned earlier on, Irish are the biggest tea drinkers in the world, so I think we can concentrate a bit more on that. The ties have been meant about the business opportunities, cultural opportunities, and tourism. I mean, tourism is the biggest industry in the world today. It employs nearly 500 million people worldwide. And every country is trying to get a slice of this action. And I think low access to a country, I think is the key with frequent services. And also, I'd like to see encouragement in terms of flights, not just to London from Nepal, but here to Dublin, to the capital city. Because that's how it works. I obviously said earlier, I do hope to return to Nepal quite soon and try to make that trip. But today I think is an exciting day. I think things will continue to grow and people will get together and work together. And hopefully in the future I will be a bit more involved, and that is my goal, is to help both Ireland and Nepal in two-way traffic. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for your commitment to support stronger links between our countries. Thank you. Just some guests have arrived in the interim, and I would just like to invite the Chargé d'Affaires from the Embassy, Mr. Tijbadjan Chatri, just to give facilitation and just a welcome to one of our speakers, Mr. Noel Hanna. Yes, please come forward. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. Francis O'Donoghue from the Department of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much. Would you please come forward? Thank you. You can't stay in the back row around here. Thanks very much indeed. And I'd also like to invite Mr. P.K. Radwa from the Indian Embassy, please. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Thank you very much, and thank you for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite one of our guests from Mountaineering Ireland, Dr. Patrick O'Sullivan, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Mountaineering Ireland is happy to participate in the organisation of this first Nepal Island Mountaineering and Outdoor Adventure Fair. I myself am pleased to be able to say a few words of support on this auspicious occasion on behalf of Mountaineering Ireland. I'm afraid I'm a bit of a false introduction. I'm not really the director. I'm just a board member of Mountaineering Ireland, but I also edit their quarterly magazine, some copies of which are outside, so I could just get a little advertising in there. Mountaineering Ireland is the national governing body for the sport of mountaineering on the island of Ireland. The south and the north of the island are covered by us. And for us, mountaineering covers all aspects of our sport, from hill walking to rock climbing, bouldering and indoor climbing, and then to climbing in the Alps and in the greater ranges. And Mountaineering Ireland provides a range of services for its members, but it's also very interested in protecting the environment that we all cherish and enjoy through our pastime. So we're very much focused on environmental issues at this time. We have 10,500 members in the island of Ireland, and over 140 member clubs. And 85% of our membership say that they are hill walkers, and 15% they specify themselves as being climbers. So that's how we break down. But many of our members, hill walkers and climbers alike, would aspire to visiting Nepal. And often it is the trip of a lifetime. But we've heard how we have to continue to go back. But from my own perspective, I think you go for the first time for the mountains. You go back for the people. I could say that in a genuine way without sounding too soppy. But you know, that I myself lived there for 5 years, and I have many treasured memories of both my trekking adventures and of the people I met and worked with during that time. For all of us as mountaineers, it is always an amazing pleasure and privilege to visit Nepal. So on behalf of Mountaineering Ireland, I would like to sincerely wish the Nepal Island Mountaineering and Outdoor Adventure Fair success. I'm sure it will, for many, will get many more people hooked on the idea of visiting the country, and going back and back again. So thank you all very much.
Just remember that line, once is not enough. Every time you think of Nepal, once is not enough. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Mr. Yogan Badra Chetri of the Non-Resident Nepal Association in the UK. He's the president, to come and say a few words. You're very welcome.
Chief Guest Lord Mayor, President of Nepal Island Society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my honor and pleasure to be here with remarkable tools. As I understand, mountaineering has emerged as a popular form of adventure tourism, and there is a discount research that development of adventure tourism develop an understanding of its participants. As you all know, Nepal is a naturally rich country that has much to offer, not just to its inhabitants, but to people who are keen on traveling and exploring new destinations. Nepal, home to 8 out of 10 of the world's tallest mountain, including the mighty Mount Everest. Nepal is a piece of heaven for adventure mountaineering, climbers and trackers, with over 240 peaks to boot. The Himalayas regions also provides an ideal landscape to trackers who are keen to explore the foothills of mountains. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been part of the mountain tourism for decades and always supported about the participants of private sector for its development. After a long struggle, Nepal is considering private sectors help to explore new mountain and new tourism destinations. I would like to inform you that Nepal last month slashed climbing fees for individuals to encourage smaller group and prevent a large crowd on the mountain slopes. I have seen so many disturbance happen in the past with climber, and I would like to give tribute to those climbers who lost their lives climbing high mountain in Nepal. Keeping this in view, along with Nepal's community, usually organize various type of charity organized to celebrate funds so that we can support to their families. To some extent, we have been success and still too many things to do, and it's only be possible if we move forward collectively. Finally, I would like to thank the President and his entire team, Nepal Island Society, for inviting me to be part of this Nepal Island Mountaineering and Outdoor Adventure Fair 2014. Same time, I would like to thank Nepal Embassy London, and I would like to thank all of you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call on Mr. John Leach to come and just give us a brief taster about trekking in Nepal. Thank you, John.
Lord Mayor, Mr. Burke, Charge d'Affaires, Chetri, and Military Attaché Colonel please read my atrocious pronunciation of the language. I'm not an amateur. I'd like to thank Tash for inviting me to make a presentation this afternoon. I'm looking forward to it. Essentially, I suppose, when you invited me, tell me about the people I was going to be speaking with. So it says down here, wonderful opportunity to meet and interact with veteran Irish mountaineers. I thought to myself, Christ, that's not me. And then I went further and I thought, an outdoor adventure expert. Well, okay, my background is I'm a former naval officer, naval diver, working now as Chief Executive of Irish Water Safety. So all my adventuring was really done afloat or in the water. Did some, all right, on mountains and the Alps. I remember being, years ago, I was serving with the Royal Navy, and we got airlifted from Trieste in helicopters up into the Alps, which is sea level. So you went to sea level, right up in about, literally, I don't know, 25 to 30 minutes. Suddenly you're up at halfway up the Alps. And then been asked to go and abseil down the side of mountains, and I think that's what put me off. Mountain climbing after that, it was a bit much, so it was. Anyway, there is an adventure in all of us. It's realizing your adventure is a great challenge for most of us. Some are very good at it, some are not so good at it. And lots of people become armchair adventurers, and it's just sort of quite happy to enjoy watching other people do it. So for Adair and myself, Adair's my wife and myself, married for 27 years this year, we're a pretty active couple, always have been, in all kinds of sports and activities. So we're outdoor people on the whole. My father was an army officer and served with the Nepalese army overseas in the United Nations on peacekeeping missions, and was very, very impressed with them. That was his first interaction with them. My wife's father, he served in the British Army and served with the Gurkha regiments. And since we're children, we're listening to all these stories of serving with the Gurkhas and the Nepalese and how wonderful they are. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard this. I'm going to read it aloud. It was written shortly after the First World War by Professor Sir Alf Lilly Turner, who actually earned the Military Cross with the Gurkha Regiment during the First World War in what was then Palestine. As I write these last words, my thoughts return to you, who were my comrades, the stubborn and indomitable peasants in Nepal. Once more, I hear the laughter with which you greeted every hardship. Once more, I see you in your bivouacs or about your fires, on forced march or in the trenches, now shivering with wet and cold, now scorched by a pitiless and burning sun. Uncomplaining, you endure hunger and thirst and wounds. And at the last, your unwavering lines disappear into the smoke and wrath of battle. Bravest of the brave, most generous of the generous, never had country more faithful friends than you. So, with that in mind, I then thought of the awful tragedy on the 18th of April this year. And I thought of those words and of the 16 Sherpas, guys who lost their lives. And it just typifies the bravery and the positive spirit of the Nepalese. They really are incredible people. I was very, very impressed with the country, sure. I was far more impressed with people. Fantastic people, really, really are. Anyway, the reason how I managed to get involved going to Nepal with the Dana, is Dana Reyes, that was our contact out there. Got connected with him through Lorna Siggins, who wrote the book Everest Calling and Dawson Self-Offices expedition. And so we got to know, I've known Lorna all my working life, and she recommended Dana, so we went off with Dana, and we had a brilliant, 28 days in total, starting in Kathmandu for 2 days. We then went to one of the 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Nepal. As you know, Ireland we only got 2, Nepal got 4. So we went to Chitwan down in the south, near the Chitra Mountains down on the Indian border, which really was fascinating, going to the jungle, canoeing, walking, cycling, jeep safari, elephant rides, elephant washes. That'll be a bit of fun. Back to Kathmandu for a day to get organised, and then we took off from essentially just outside Kathmandu, up the Helenbu trek, over onto the Guzan Kund trek, then down into the Langtang Valley, up Langtang the whole way up to Churkuri, which is the highest we went to up there, and then back down to Kathmandu. Fascinating a few days. At the time when Dana organised the holiday, he said, that's all you're going to do in your 3 weeks. He said, fair enough, and he put in all these rest days and things. So we've now finished that in 2 weeks. So I said, Dana, we have to do something else. So he says, no problem. So he organises a plane off to Pokhara, and we took off to Pokhara, and we had a short week in Annapurna, which was so different than where we've been to. I mean, the Langtang Helandu trek Kund is quite different. So I'm hoping that in my presentation this afternoon, I'll give you a good feel of our 28 days in Nepal. So thank you so much, and I look forward to having some of your questions.
Thank you very much, John. I'd now like to ask Fingal County Council Mayor, Councillor Max Murray, if you please come and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. It is a great pleasure to be here this morning. And as I was saying to His Excellency on the way in, when the invitation came today, we get many invitations. This is the one I think I was the most excited about. I love the whole idea of integration and new communities coming to live in new countries and finding out more about each other. And I see you as a very peaceful people, very colourful people, and particularly our young friends in the front row who were very excited to be here this morning. But I think when people hear about Kathmandu and Kilimanjaro, I often think they don't actually know where they are. They're names that people associate with mountains. I don't think that they know where they are. But just to say, I was interested to find that there are no direct flights to Dublin. Just to say, firstly, for people who are doing business maybe in the area, and particularly in Fingal, we have a very, very good, strong Chamber of Commerce there. So I would extend an invitation to people if you're doing business in Ireland, that maybe to get in contact with our chamber. Also interested to find that there are about 3,000 people from Nepal living in Ireland. So it's a small community in one sense, but I would say a huge community in terms of culture and all of that. But because we have the airport in Fingal, and we see ourselves as a gateway region, an airport region, we have very close links with Dublin Airport Authority. I will be meeting with them in September actually, and it is one of the things that I will raise, maybe about the possibility of flights. And that would make the diaspora who go and come back and make it easier for people to go and to find the wonderful country that you have there. Just also to say, and this is an event really aimed at younger people, but their families will also be attending. And in terms of your small community in one sense in Ireland, in Fingal on Tuesday evening, we're having an integration day. So on behalf of Fingal County Council, I would actually like to extend an invitation if people want to come and be a part of that evening. We're having some of the government ministers and people from Fingal attending, and there's been great excitement about the planning of the event. So as I said, I haven't been disappointed. It has been lovely, lovely, lovely to be here. I'm looking forward to seeing the stands outside and meeting some more of you. And you know, I always say to people, today will be yesterday, tomorrow. And I hope tomorrow I will know more than I knew yesterday or today about Nepal. And thank you very much for your kind invitation and your beautiful words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Councillor Murray. Now, to offer a vote of thanks, I'd like to invite Mr. Bishwanath Kimari from the Nepal Embassy of London to come and say a few words. Thank you very much.
Before I begin my vote of thanks, I would like to share some experience that not only I, my colleagues, our lady wives felt during our sightseeing visit yesterday around Dublin. We found one of the best lands on earth. And the people are wonderful, dedicated, diligent and loyal towards their country. That's why it has succeeded for topping the good country index in the world among 125 countries. I would like to congratulate our land's people for the glorious achievements. No matter how much they are suffering the last number of years, They have not forgotten their national, regional and international obligations. It is a matter of pride for those who are close friends of Ireland like Nepal and its people. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasant task of delivering my vote of thanks to this remarkable gathering. On behalf of the Embassy of Nepal, London, guest invitees, and on my own, extend to you all honorable a very hearty vote of thanks for gracing the function and sharing with this august audience, especially Christy Brooke, Lord Mayor of Dublin, Max Murray, Fingal County Council Mayor, Mr. Francis, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Ireland, Mr. P.K. Raghav, Councillor, Indian Embassy, and especially our friend, the proposed Honorary Consul, Michael Rain. I take this opportunity to extend our most sincere thanks to all our guest invitees who have come from different destinations for the support and cooperation. As we all know, an event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. It requires meticulous planning and execution and an eye for every detail. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated professionals who know their job and are result-oriented. I extend my sincere gratitude to the Nepal Ireland Society President and his team for helping us whenever and wherever possible to make this affair a grand success. And I'm pretty sure without their dedication and honest support, it won't be organized and carried out so smoothly. I cannot thank everyone enough for the